97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. Citi News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. I am Sammy Wiafe, and tonight I am here with
Ejubi Wiafe Akente.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
When the government want to increase 1 CD per litre, he didn't ask us, we didn't know anything. We just hear it from the people. And our people are suffering, so we want to increase something so that we make them happy.
Transport fares up by 20% effective Friday, August 8, 2025. That's according to the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. Tonight, we hear the justification. Also coming up on Eyewitness News.
Let me state that there are institutions that are owing us. It is honestly affecting our operations.
Confusion at Ghana Export as National Identification Authority shuts the GRA from the Identity Verification Service platform following non-payment of user fees. And later on Eyewitness News, Everex Logistics Limited, a company at the center of investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, threatens to sue the Ghana Airports Company Limited over termination of its contract. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. Later coming up in business.
Cocoa platform demands review of new producer price.
Eyewitness News is live on affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. Talking about affiliates, if you are in the Upper West region, I'm sure you are hearing us live on Tumpani Radio 88.5 FM in Adoli, as well as Jirakpa 96.1 FM. In the Upper East region, we are on Recast 92.1 FM in Bongo. In the Northern region, hear us on North Star Radio 92.1 FM in Tamale. In Northeast region, we are live on Nobia 98.1 FM. In the Western region, we are live on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM, both in Takrady. In the Ashanti region, we are live on Focus 94.3 FM and Orange 107.9 FM, all in Kumasi. In the Volta region, you can hear us on Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabla and Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. And in the Savannah region, you can hear us on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damango. You can also join the conversation with your WhatsApp messages. The number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Ejubi has a first story.
The Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council has announced a 20% increase in public transport fares effective Friday, August 8, 2025. The decision is attributed to rising operational costs, including the new 1 CD per litre levy, high maintenance expenses due to poor road conditions, and stagnant prices of spare parts. Speaking to Citi News, acting chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Alhaji Mohammed Tanko, expressed disappointment over the government's failure to create a more favorable operating environment for transport operators.
When the government want to increase 1 CD per litre, he didn't ask us, he didn't tell us anything. So we didn't know anything. We just hear it from the people. And our people too are suffering. The spare parts haven't been reduced. Everything is high. So we sit down quiet. Up to now, the minister didn't call us, didn't say anything to us. And our people are suffering. So we want to increase something so that we make them happy. Oh, if we increase, they will understand. Because each of us are fighting for himself. The spare parts, nobody is reducing. We are suffering.
He further criticized government's failure to engage the council on the implemented 1 CD per litre fuel despite their patronage of fuel on a large scale, thus placing a burden on its members.
So we are not the enemy of the government. If government want to do something, he didn't inform us. He didn't negotiate with us. We don't know what is going on. Just we are in the country just like that. But he can call some people to negotiate with them. What about us? Yeah? He can negotiate with GPRT or they say concerned drivers. We Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. We are many, but not all the transport in the country is GPRTU. VIP are not GPRTU. VVIP are not GPRTU. OA, they are not GPRTU. We have Pro Tour, we have cooperative, we have many transport body. So government, if you want to, don't take only one body. So government, if you want to negotiate anything, they have to call all of us. Formally, they call us. So we all will go together and then decide what to do, even increase or not.
You heard the acting chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Alhaji Mohammed Tanko.
In a short while, we'll speak to the chairman of the Coordinating Council, Alhaji Tanko, on the justification why there is the need to increase transport fares by 20%. In a press statement they issued this afternoon, the justification is that, one, for the non-corresponding reduction in spare parts, goods and services after the reduction of the transport fares by 15% on the 21st of May 2025. The second justification is to accommodate for the increase in operational cost after the introduction of the 1 cedi per litre levy. According to them, it has brought about an 8% increase in fuel costs. And the final one, it says, to accommodate for the increase in maintenance cost as well as a result of deplorable roads across the country. Let's go to the phone line and speak to Duncan Amwa. He's the executive secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. They are not happy with the decision of the Coordinating Council to increase transport fares by 20%. Duncan, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Sami, and good evening to your listeners.
They make three justifications. I mean, the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. The justification is that, first, for the non-corresponding reduction in spare parts, goods and services after it decided to reduce its fares by 15%. He also says to accommodate for the increase in operational costs after the introduction of the 1 Ghana cedi per litre, and also to accommodate the increase in maintenance as a result of the deplorable roads across the country. You think these reasons or justifications are not good enough to warrant a 20% increase?
Let me quickly share something with you, just a few seconds. We've just done fuel price analysis for selected OMCs year on year. And so exactly a year today, first window, August 2024, for Frames Oil, petrol was 13.80, diesel was 14.17. First window of August 2025, the same Frames Oil, first window, petrol is 11.70, diesel is 13. So you have a variance there. You have a variance out there of 2 cedis for petrol and about 0.62 pesos for diesel. Take well, a year today, exactly a year today, first window August, 14 point, just a second again. Well was doing a year today, petrol at 14.42, diesel 14.99. A year today, they are doing petrol 12.8, diesel 14.38. Petrol has a difference of 1 cedi 54, diesel has a difference of 61 pesos. Total, another 14.9, 14.9. Year today, 12.8, 14.3. Difference of 1 Ghana cedi 60 and then 57 pesos for petrol and diesel. I'm just doing this to draw you to speed. The general mood of Ghanaians today is not supportive of what the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council is seeking to do. And I'm sorry, this will backfire badly. On your platform, you've engaged GUTA, you've engaged Automobile Dealers Association, You've engaged Abosokan spare parts dealers. You've engaged all sections of the Ghanaian economy. The conversation has been that things must decline, and GUTA would keep encouraging its members to continue to reduce their prices, right? Abosokan spare parts dealers will tell you today that the cost of parts year on year would have declined. Fuel prices have declined within the same period. And so you end up wondering, if you do the transport fare computation or matrix, you would end up wondering which of the variables the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council is seeking to use to punish the commuting public by 20%. None of the indications would help their argument. I have heard the same argument that said, okay, petrol has been increased by 1 Ghana cedi. They were not consulted. I agree perfectly. They should have been consulted. I would share that government should not just take decisions any day, anyhow, without recourse to the people who will bear the brunt of those decisions. So they should be consulted. But if you were not consulted, and so you are peeved in one way or the other, because this is more like a punitive, upward adjustment. The matrices don't suggest, the numbers don't indicate that there's a justification for you going up, but you are probably not happy because government didn't consult in increasing by 1 Ghana cedi levy. Even with the increase of the 1 Ghana cedi levy, the numbers would still tell you that there's still a variance of between 1 cedi 60 and about 2 cedi for petrol generally, and then about 50, 60, 70, 80 pesos for diesel generally, in favor of our pockets at this point. And so, if you say you are not consulted and you are peeved, you are slapping 20%, you haven't also consulted with the commuting public, those of us who depend on your services, to come by that justification. Whatever they are putting on paper at this point, it is simply not engaging enough. It is simply also suggesting to the Abosokan guys who are working hard to bring down their prices that you shouldn't even bother, because the prices that you bring down so that the cost of goods and services generally can go down. The transport operator says, I have increased my fare. So when the Kenke woman bought the bus from one point to the other and she pays more, she will have to reduce the Kenke. So the overall effect that you are seeking to get on cost of goods and services, you wouldn't get that. You are simply telling GUTA, you are telling the various OMCs to just go ahead and also increase their prices, because of course, maybe when the 1 cedi was being introduced, they were not told. They have a deregulated market. They can add more margin. This would simply create chaos. That is not the mood of Ghanaians at this point, and I think that the JRTCC to withdraw that notice immediately, because you are simply inviting all of us into an arena of conjecture where you are not dealing with numbers, not because your spare parts cost has gone up, not because even the cost of vehicles, which is one of your main variables in calculating your fare.
But then Duncan, their argument is also that the cost of maintaining their vehicles have gone up because of the deplorable state of our roads. And we all will admit that our roads are in bad shape, so those who drive will always have issues with our roads.
Sammy, that would amount to possibly using paracetamol, which is something for headache, to treat cancer. So you have one sickness, and you think that every medication should be able to resolve that. There's a problem with our roads generally. Yes, we should be able to discuss that without going to punish the already suffering mass who, through no fault of theirs, right, that the roads are in deplorable condition. You are simply going to ask the people who don't sit in their V8, right, to use these deplorable roads. The V8 can master these roads in a day. You would agree, Sammy? The ordinary person who doesn't have the comfort of the V8, who is suffering with you on those bad roads, you say, I am slapping a charge of 20% on you. I don't think they are looking to solve the road problem by simply applying or slapping transport fare adjustment. It is not and cannot be justified The numbers cannot justify this. The cost of parts, I mean, if you bought a car tire, of course, a used one, a year ago for 600 Ghana cedis, chances of buying the same type for 450 today is very high. And so, yes, you may do a bit more of a frequent maintenance because of bad roads, but the general cost of servicing has not gone up. The cost of lubricant, I can demonstrate again, has also declined. The cost of your brake pads, if you speak to the Abosokai guys, they will tell you has declined. So it is not surprising that the GPRTU, if you read a statement that I just received also from the Ghana Transport Operators Union, which embodies the concerned drivers, all of them, is also distancing from this action because clearly Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council is not reading the mood of the country. People are hoping that the general cost of goods and services will decline. So you cannot sneak in a 20% simply because you are not happy government didn't consult you on the 1 cedi levy, which we've had extensive discussions. I mean, we discussed this on your network. All of us were not happy. Even COMAC, the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, issued an ultimatum to government. They were not happy. Government had to reverse, withdraw, go back and listen and do whatever before it finally came back. If you are not happy with that, let's address that without going to hurt the entire economic situation of the country. Because if you do this, you are simply telling the market woman to increase her tomato prices, to increase her onions. They will depend on these services. And I don't think that we should encourage the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council to take every Ghanaian for a ride this way. If we allow them tomorrow, expect GUTA to also tell their members to increase their prices. Of course, they could also make justification that the cost of school fees and other things have gone up. They need more money. But is that what the country needs?
No, not at all. Not at all. But Mr. Moore, the directive is that effective this Friday, 8th of August, the drivers should increase the fare. You think an intervention from government can help address the situation? Because they said that on Friday this is taking effect.
I think that we are jumping into an arena of chaos. If GRTCC is allowed to get away with this, every other economic body or union would also give a directive to their membership, and so you can imagine where we are heading.
Well, they are bent on carrying out this directive.
The good thing is that GPRTU has distanced from them. The Ghana Road Transport Operators just a while ago have issued a statement distancing from them. We'll be watching on Friday to see who exactly. They have mentioned the VVIP, VIP, blah, blah, that they would want to go ahead and add 20%. So it means if you are paying 100 cedis for something, they will be charging 120. If you are paying 200, 240. We'll be watching the space by Friday. And if push comes to shove and we need to intervene, we would intervene with the court. Because there's really no justification in telling all of us that you should pay more because they are peeved, their roads have not been constructed. They are peeved because they have not been consulted. If that is allowed to stand, you are telling all of us that GUTA should also be emboldened tomorrow to tell their members to slap 10%, 20%. Where would this country go with this sort of attitude? I think GRTCC should refrain, desist, and immediately withdraw that directive because it is simply going to be leading to nothing but chaos on Friday if they proceed with it.
You have an idea of the number of transport unions this coordinating council controls? The number of buses they have control over?
What I do know for a fact is that even the committed or concerned drivers would also have their members. In times past, sometimes they make these moves, and of course, cool heads are called upon to prevail because it cannot be right that you say that only your members and that GPRTU members don't suffer the same consequences you suffer, right? Only your members, and that the concerned drivers, Yalberima and his people, Charles Danso and his people, everybody else don't suffer any of the consequences. It is only JRTCC and its membership that suffers this consequence, and so they want 20% more, not 5%, not 10, not 15, 20. We should allow them. If that is allowed to stand, like I'm saying, on Friday, you are simply opening a floodgate for chaos because then every other economic grouping, the OMCs, would equally come back and say that, look, even when we went down on fuel prices, when we swallowed our margins to be able to give Ghanaians some relief, the drivers say they are increasing their fares, so let's increase the fuel prices for them. Would that be a good thing for this country? I think Ohene Yeboah and his people should withdraw that notice, should let cool heads prevail. They should at least go back to the table with their other transport operators. If it is something they all agree to, Same, I am sure common sense or cool heads would have prevailed. But once you have other driver unions vociferously distancing, it tells you that that decision is unpopular, it's unfounded, both in the numbers and in the matrices. It cannot be justified, it cannot be defended anyhow.
Okay.
So they should withdraw this before Friday. Otherwise, they are simply setting all of us up for chaos.
Okay, Duncan, thank you very much. Duncan Amoy, the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, also known as COPE, reacting to a press statement from the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council announcing a 20% increase in transport fares effective the 8th of August, which is just coming Friday. And they make some 3 justifications why there's a need to increase the transport fares by the said 8%. One, they say that for the corresponding reduction in spare parts, goods and services after the reduction of transport fares by 15%, which was done on the 21st of May 2025. Secondly, to accommodate for the increase in operational cost after the introduction of the 1 Ghana Citi per litre levy, per their calculation, it cost an increment of 8% in the price of fuel. And thirdly, to accommodate for the increase in maintenance cost of results of deplorable roads across the country. And they say that the following transport union should take this into consideration. One, they say the shared taxis, the intra-city, which is the trotro, the intercity, which is the long-distance buses, and then the haulage vehicles. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's read some of your text messages before we go on a quick break. Mawisi from Teti in the Volta region says, the recent fare increase by the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council is unjustified, blaming higher spare parts, poor roads, and Ghana Cedi fuel. That cannot be done. This shifts unfairly burden to consumers, whilst Ghanaians are suffering. Honorable Ayimba from Yabo in the Volta in the North Savannah region says, if GPRT should take a second look at the proposed 20% transport increase, in actual fact, the current economic stability won't support any transport increase above 5%. Abi National Inwa says the minority should, no, we are not discussing minority today, Abi National, forgive me. We the people from Oya River says the government must do everything possible to avert the announced transport increase, as we are not ready to pay that. Ayikwe in Accra says, who are suffering? The Ghana Road Council Transport Group is sounding like the minority. We all know where they are coming from. Akapo in Ahafomim says, Cocoa Board is using jargons. No, Akapo, we are not discussing Cocoa Board today. We did that yesterday. Jones Adobo in last says, good evening, Sammy. The GBRTU has absolutely no justification at this point in time to increase transport fares. I believe there are some unseen hands speaking to them. We'll go for a quick break. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When I go home and want something quick to chop, everything there inside, groundnuts, milk and sugar. I only need some water, so kiss me easy, oh. Keep carry make you carry for your happy, boarding house, everything there inside, groundnuts, milk and sugar. I only
Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Soakings are easy. This outfit is FDA approved.
If you know these sounds, you didn't just live through the 90s, you lived the experience. Back then, connection took minutes. Today, it takes a blink. You express yourself with memes. You hold video calls across continents. You say hey to an AI who responds,
Hello, Kwame.
you order rides, dinner, and dreams all from the palm of your hand. A lot has changed, So have we. For over 3 decades, EcoBank has evolved with you, leading digital banking in Ghana and across 33 African countries, pioneering solutions built around how you live, move, and dream today. From our Express Points to EcoBank Pay, online banking, and the mobile app, we are where you are. Here for today, ready for tomorrow. Now, that's change. Powered by EcoBank. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, and what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so this is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it will protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. One pair way now open there. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my go be fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you hand my go be inside? I give you info. Make a fill the go be too small. Go. And Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
For me, I be truck driver. I dey road top before most people go come up for them house. For me, energy be purpose.
I'm a working mom. I drop my kids at school and head straight to the office. The car, the fuel, it keeps our day in motion. For me, energy is support.
At Misa Energy, formerly Engine Ghana, we keep Ghana moving no matter where they're headed to. For us, energy is progress. Energy is possibility. Energy is innovation. Misa Energy, fueling your dreams, putting you first. Visit your nearest Misa station today.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe, and tonight I am here with Ejubi Wiafe. Let's read some text message before we bring you some other stories. Christian Inkpon says the Minister for Roads and Transport should step in and stop this immediately. Ghana Ghana does not belong to the MPP people alone. Daniel in Sandema says we appreciate the dedication of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, but a 20% fare increase is harsh and is below the belt. Already Ghanaians are suffering, and that is not what we expect. Let's move on to some other stories. And the National Identification Authority, NIA, has disconnected the Ghana Revenue Authority from its identity verification service platform due to non-payment of user fees. The IVSP enables institutions to verify the identity of individuals using the Ghana Card Database, a critical function for revenue mobilization, healthcare access, and passport issuance. However, the NIA says the mounting debt from these public institutions are undermining its ability to operate effectively. Let's go on to the phone line and speak to William Ampoma. He's head of corporate affairs at the National Identification Authority. Mr. Ampoma, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. First of all, run us through this identity verification service platform.
Right. Good evening, and thank you for having me. Right. So let me put this on record that the indebtedness of the Ghana Revenue Authority to the National Identification Authority predates this current management. We have an MOU with them. You know, before the MOU, the Ghana Revenue Authority were registering people and issuing TIN numbers. So there was a governmental policy to put a hold to that process and then use the Ghana card. So after the
the MOU, they had some data that needed to authenticate them using the National Identification Authority's data. So as part of the process, they had a dedicated server, and we transferred a bulk data to them to do what the IT guys call matching of the data. Now, in the MOU, they're supposed to pay some fees to the National Identification Authority. Since we took over, we noticed they owe us about 376,747,406 Ghana cedis. We are all government institutions, and so we took steps to recover the money. We've written to them countless times. We didn't get response from them. We decided that we will escalate it. And so we even went to the extent of meeting a select committee in Parliament with the name Public Interest and Administration Committee on this very issue. We have discussed with our sector minister. We reported this case to SIGA, and our last letter to SIGA was on 4th June 2025. SIGA followed up, had a meeting with us, and promised they will help us get the money. We waited for a while, and GRA was not responding. So we gave them our last notice, that was on 29th July, that if they don't show commitment, we will be left with no other choice than to unplug them from our system. Now, we did not hear from them again. So, effective 1st August, we decided to unplug them. What this means is that GRA took the bulk data and developed another system they call the ICOMS. So if you are dealing with the GRA, when they input your card number, it communicates between the GRA system and that of the NIA. Now, all those that were in the ICOMS before this unplugging, the only challenge the GRA will have is those that have done updates after getting onto the ICOM. Because once you've unplugged them, they do update, you cannot get that data. Those who are yet to get onto the system will also not be able to, because we have unplugged them. Now, we have written to the data protection. We want them to help us get access to the Ghana Revenue Authority's server, the one we transferred the bulk data to, and then retrieve our data. We have a policy as an authority that we are not transferring bulk data to any institution again. And so even after they pay their debt owed to the National Identification Authority and still want to use our platform, they will have to come through the API system. We are not giving them bulk data again. However, what is even disheartening is the fact that after getting the bulk data from us, there are other institutions that are also sourcing the data from the Ghana Revenue Authority. Institutions like HAPTEL, the ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana, and even Land Commission. They were all getting their data from the Ghana Revenue Authority. It breaches the law. And we have written to them on this as well.
Are these organizations you mentioned, are they supposed to come to you rather?
Exactly. So you have taken the data. You are not paying what you're supposed to pay to us. And we are giving the data out to other institutions, breaching the law with impunity. So we got to where we are now as a result of non-compliance. And it saddens our hearts because we understand the implications of this. But as an authority, we also need to work. This is affecting our operational abilities.
Okay, so William, your decision today has affected or caused some disruptions at the ports. I don't know if you're aware of this. We are told that people are not able to go through the process to clear their goods at the port. Has this come to your attention?
Earlier today, we had a number of people at our foyer with their Ghana card on this issue. I understand they went to the port to clear their goods. They were not on the system. Some had done updates. And so, because we have unplugged the GRA, the systems were unable to communicate. So a number of people were at our premises to get their issues resolved. So we are aware. As I said, we painfully had to do this because we also need money to maintain the system.
But the state also needs money, and so if this disruption is taking place at the port, is the state also not losing revenue?
Interestingly, the Electricity Company of Ghana just last week threatened to disconnect us. Just last week. So, the Electricity Company of Ghana is also a government institution, isn't it? But our indebtedness to them is also affecting their operations. GRA is not the only institution that is owing the National Identification Authority. We have the Passport Office, NHI.
I was coming to that because I've seen a document from your outfit that says that aside GRA, the National Health Insurance Authority is also owing you some $58,775,027
USD.
And then the Passport Office is also owing you $20,905,255. Is that the case?
Exactly.
What are you doing about these institutions? Are you also going to plug them off like you did to GRA?
Right. So, in our letter to SIGA, we stated all the institutions that are owing us. For NHI and the Passport Office, they have shown commitment. They have spoken to the authorities of the National Identification Authority. And so we believe that the timeline we gave them, they will send them a letter 29th of July, reminding them of their financial obligation owed to the NIA, that if they do not show commitment, we may have to unplug them as well. But they have responded, and they are currently in talks with us. So for these two institutions, they've shown commitment to defray their debt. Unfortunately for all of us, GRA, it appears they paid deaf ear to all the letters we wrote to them. And you see, if someone is owing you and you are sending reminders and all that without getting responses, is disheartening. So we have gotten here. It's a very hard bullet to bite, but we didn't have a choice. After all the journey we've gone through without getting any positive responses from them.
For how long are you denying them? For how long are you denying them access?
Right. For us, they have to show commitment.
Commitment meaning paying all the 376 million cedis?
No, we are not being unreasonable. At least you owe us. So show commitment by paying something. You understand? So that we can also maintain the system you are using to collect the revenue. Mind you, we have contract staff that we pay with our IGF and all that. So we need these monies to be able to run efficiently.
Okay, William, I get you loud and clear. So for the others, they've shown reasonable, they've written to you, at least expressing interest in the pay. Have they told you, have they given you some timelines as to when they will make commitments aside GRA, I mean the NIA and the passport office?
Just yesterday, there was a high-level conversation between the passport office and the executive secretary of the authority, Mr. Wisdom Deku. And so we are hopeful that by close of this month, we'll make a headway.
William, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. William Ampoma is head of corporate affairs at the National Identification Authority. As you just heard him say a while ago, this caused some disruptions at the port. So let's speak to someone who deals at the port. His name is Samson Awingobit. He's the executive secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Samson, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. How is the decision of the NIA to, cut off the GRA from its system affecting the clearing of goods at the ports?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your cherished listeners and viewers. My name is addressed very well. I don't give birth to myself. Samson and Awingobit are all my name. My surname is Asaki. Samson Awingobit.
Thank you very much for the correction, Mr. Asaki.
I must say that it's a worrisome situation, Mr. Rafi, in the sense that this is a government agency to government agency. If you look at quite recently when President Mahama won the elections, the 2024 election, he appointed Dr. Anthony to head to be a Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority, and appointed Yaya Kuku to be the Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority. These gentlemen were appointed to help the government, help the president succeed. Unfortunately, these 6 months or 7 months in office, these gentlemen could come out to say, I've given a letter to my colleague, CEO of another institution, and there's no response. To the extent that they have called them before, they have lodged a complaint in Parliament. If you even went to the SIGA is in charge of government, state government institutions, and all these people are proving futile, and they cannot get it, and to opt to disconnect GRA from their system. What it means is that the vulnerable person in port who wanted to start the process today to do entry to the ICOMs, and first and foremost, if you go on the ICOM base, the ICOM is a web-based system. It will ask you of your ID card, that's the Ghana card, because that is what GRA issued some 2 years or 3 years ago, that in all tax identifications will be done using the NIA numbers. And so if you go on the ICOM is requesting for that number. When you enter it, it will go to GRA, and GRA will hit it to verify it and validate it onto the NIA platform. This is the reason why one can now proceed to generate the unique consignment number, and then can proceed to then do description of the commodity or the cargo that we intend to clear at the port. Then it will go to then submit it to the CTSB, Technical System Unit at the Customs Head Office, where they will now go through the process to do classification and validation and come up with a duty component for one to go and pay. And so once your ID cannot be verified, what it means is that you can't even proceed to generate the unique consignment, let alone to enter to do the description, to send it and to submit it to CTSB for classification and validation. So what it means is that anybody who wanted to initiate any work today and then to clear tomorrow cannot, and that will lead up to, if you are running to demolish and rent, you are going to run to demolish and rent for something that you have not caused. I am so sad that this is government agencies, this is not government to private joint venture that we think that the government officer is trying to unduly cause a disadvantage on him, and so I'm pulling out. But this is government agency to government agency, and I'm told this NIA is under the Ministry of Interior and the GRA is under the Ministry of Finance. I want to believe that these two ministries are talking to each other if they have heard this issue and what is the thinking. I think it calls for not just for the port alone. You remember before I took over, if one used to want to register a new company in Ghana, you first and foremost you go on the GRA portal to generate what we call the PIN code, and then you call the PIN number. Then you can then use the PIN number to proceed to register a company at the Register General. So what it means is that since the day we said we are all going on national identification, so if you go to Register General today, they will have to ask for of your national identification. And so that is the work for a GRA. What it means is that you cannot proceed to register the company. If one will have to open an account today, GRA demand that it was part of the government decision that they must accept the NIA number. So if you go today to open an account, you cannot. If you have to be verified from your bank, you cannot because of NIA has taken off GRA from there. So even if you want to pay tax, that you have to go and verify with your PIN. They have the number. You have to verify using your not using the previous PIN number, but you are using your GRA, your NIA number to do the validation on GRA domestic tax before so you can pay the tax. You cannot, and so they have brought the country to a standstill. What it means is that any district assembly, any government agency that would have withdrawn money from the government consolidated account today would not, because money that should have come in cannot come in. I think this is needless fight. This is unhealthy. This should not be entertained in this dispensation. And I want to call on the Minister of Finance and Minister of Interior to quickly summon these their CEOs to resolve it. I want to side with the GRA, with the NIA for the challenges that they're going through. If you look at the presentation of what the communication director at NIA have narrated, I think that the truth is that if the GRA should come on your line now, they cannot have legs and head to stand. They will have you finish them, and that is why all the media houses I have spoken to today, from Joy News to Citi to TV3 and others, the GRA is mute. They are not responding. I don't know what it is, but I'm too. My intelligence told me that they intend to convene a meeting tomorrow, emergency meeting tomorrow between the tax officers, the validation department. I don't know if they want to go back to their olden days of what you call it, the team again. But even with the team, we are using GCNet to generate. It was GCNet system that one used to go on that portal to generate the TIN number. And so if today we are using ICOMS and then you don't want to pay NIA for verification and you are causing unduly demolish the rent for the business committee, and I'm sure that by the time you will finish resolving this issue, DRA will not accept to say we have caused it, and so for that matter, your demolish and your rent that you have run into, I would waive it, or you are paid on your behalf. That is not good. It's unhealthy. Now you want to condemn it into no uncertainty.
We'll definitely reach out to GRA also hear their side of the story as far as this issue is.
They are running away.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Samson Awingobet Asaki, Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Also listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Now, the company at the center of investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Everex, has written through its lawyers to the Ghana Airports Company Limited, questioning why the Airport Company Limited decided to terminate its contract following the investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And I read to you the full letter as written by lawyers of the company and sent to the management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited on why the termination of their contract. And it says, the managing director, Ghana Airport Company Limited, Kotoka International Airport, Accra, notice of termination, revenue assurance audit agreement. It says, we act as lawyers for Everex Logistics Limited and hold its instruction to respond to your letter dated 28th of July 2025 on the above subject matter. In the said letter, we convey the intention of the Ghana Airport Company Limited to terminate the revenue assurance audit agreement. Agreement term, the agreement dated the 4th of December 2024, effective 27th of August 2025. Our client has received this information to its dismay, given that it has heavily invested in the infrastructure tailor-made for the Ghana Airport Company Limited pursuant to the agreement aforementioned. Furthermore, our client considers the intention to terminate the said contract as in bad faith and unreasonableness. We are instructed by our client to inform you that the purported termination is unacceptable to it, given its capital investment into the contract in the region of $64 million, $600,000. Moreover, our client had already started executing its assignment in fulfillment of the contract and indeed prepared reports for your attention and action. In view of the foregoing and in the spirit of seeking amicable settlement in the matter, our client instructs us to inform you to withdraw the said letter within 7 days upon receipt of this letter. We are further instructed that if upon the expiration of the 7 days you fail or refuse to withdraw the said letter, we have our client full instructions to institute an action to vindicate its rights and seek relief, including but not limited to its capital investment stated above. This is a letter from lawyers of Everex Logistics Company Limited, this company in the center of investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Ejubi has some more stories.
Now, traders at the Newsroom market in the Ashanti region have expressed joy and renewed optimism following the resumption of work on the long-abandoned market project. Construction has restarted, with contractors clearing the site and preparing for full-scale redevelopment. Some traders who spoke to Citi News said the completion of the project will bring much-needed relief.
If you say market,
many people have lost their livelihoods because they can no longer sell in this market, and they are truly struggling. Completing the market would greatly benefit all of us. The population is growing daily, and more people are looking for space to sell their goods. Completing the market will help address this challenge.
This is a large market that will help solve the problem of overcrowding in our existing markets.
Those were some traders at the Newsroom market in the Ashanti region speaking to Citi News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Still unbeatable. Republic Bank has slashed the Citi mortgage interest rate to a new low. That means it's more affordable to own your dream home. You enjoy lower monthly installments, save on interest payments, flexible loan arrangements, and more. Make the move. Own your home at a lower teen interest rate. But hurry, this offer lasts for a limited time. Visit any Republic Bank branch or send email to myhome@republicghana.com or call Accra 054-0109-649. Kumasi 054-0109-901 to apply today and enjoy a teen interest rate. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so this is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it will protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there. So where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you hand my go be inside? I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small. Go. And Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Ma, have you received the delivery?
See how the rider's bay. Send in the momo.
Okay, *176.
Power. Don't you use a smartphone? Use the momo app ne.
Huh? App.
Hey, I want to say millennium, say millennial. Oh, millennium for ya nyaze. Switch to the app. Why you smart? You know you're secure.
Enter a world of possibilities with the Momo app. Be your favorite merchant, pay utility bills, and borrow from our wide range of lending services. Move to the app side today. MTN.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ijubi Wiafe Akente, and let's settle for the details. South Africa's largest grocery retailer, Shoprite Holdings, will sell its operations in Ghana and Malawi as part of a broader strategy to focus on its home market. ShopRite, once Africa's largest food retailer with operations in about 15 countries, expanded aggressively to outpace rivals such as Pick n Pay and Walmart-owned Massmart. However, challenges such as currency volatility, high inflation, steep import duties, and dollar-based rentals have hurt performance in some markets. The company said ShopRite Malawi signed a June 6 agreement to sell 5 trading stores pending regulatory approvals. In Ghana, it received a binding offer for 7 stores and 1 warehouse, with a sale deemed highly probable. These exits follow withdrawals from Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Madagascar, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Despite the restructuring, ShopRite expects headline earnings per share to rise up to 19.4%. Now, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, is calling on banks to reassess their lending modules to boost private sector growth following the central bank's decision to cut its policy rates. He stressed that while the rate cut aims to stimulate economic activity, monetary policy alone cannot sustain the gains witnessed in the economy. Speaking at the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana Policy Seminar on Tuesday, he added that the stability of Ghana's financial system depends on the active participation of banks in the broader economic recovery agenda.
But monetary policy alone cannot carry the weight of economic transformation. One area that now demands renewed attention is the evolving role of banks in the post-stabilization phase, as I mentioned. What are our banks going to do in the post-stabilization phase? Are they prepared to lend less than 10%? Are they prepared to look away from the T-bills? Are they prepared to look away from the high Bank of Ghana instruments and their high interest rates? The era of high interest rates and passive investment by banks in government securities is ending. Banks must now begin to reimagine their business models, refocusing on intermediation, on innovation, and on credit expansion to productive sectors. With inflation decelerating and rates on a downward path, there is a unique opportunity to support private sector growth, to support SMEs, to support agriculture, and above all, to support green financing. So let me be clear, a stable macroeconomic environment.
That was the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama. Now, the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform is urging the government to review the newly announced cocoa producer price, saying it falls short of the administration's earlier promise of a substantial increase. The price has been adjusted from $3,100 to $5,040 per ton. Addressing a press conference in Accra, the platform's co-convener Obed Owusu-Adai expressed disappointment, stressing that the increment does not meet farmers' expectations and called for a possible mid-term review.
We are not saying they should give us prices outside what they can produce. We are all very conversant with the international market price. And based on some promises that were even made by the president and then the minister for agri, we were told that we will receive not less than 70% of the world market price. But when the finance minister was announcing, he made references to the FOB, the free on board price, which is entirely different. So what we are saying is draw attention of the minister to the fact that they made promises based on world market price and not FOB price. And we have done our own mathematics and calculations, and we felt they could have given not less than 3,600, just as our Ivorian colleagues are receiving.
Obed Owusu-Adai is the co-convener for the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform. Away from that, the proportion of non-performing loans in the banking sector saw a modest decline in June 2025, suggesting a gradual improvement in loan quality despite economic pressures. According to the Bank of Ghana's latest summary of economic and financial data, the industry's NPL ratio dropped to 23.1% in June, down from 23.6% in May. Daniel Dromensa has more in the following report.
When adjusted to exclude the loss category, that's loans unlikely to be recovered, the adjusted NPL ratio stood at 8.5%, down slightly from 8.9% in May, indicating that a substantial portion of troubled loans are deeply impaired. This improvement aligns with the sector's overall performance indicators. Total advances grew to 89.7 billion cedis, while the capital adequacy ratio, a key measure of banking stability, remained strong at 19.7%, up from 20.3% in May, and well above regulatory thresholds. Notably, even without regulatory reliefs, banks maintained a healthy ratio of 18.2%. However, banks are cautioned that while the easing NPL figures are positive, the levels remain relatively high by historical standards, pointing to lingering credit risks within the economy. The Bank of Ghana continues to monitor asset quality closely as it maintains tight supervisory oversight. The slight dip in NPLs also reflects ongoing recovery efforts in the real sector and tighter credit risk management by banks in the wake of economic reforms and debt restructuring efforts.
Daniel Drew Mensah with that business desk report. And that's it for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ijibi Wiafe Akente. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Life doesn't always go as planned. Maybe you dreamed of earning a degree, but something got in the way. Losing a parent, financial struggles, or life just happening. But what if I told you it's not too late? At Cracks Training Institute, we believe in second chances. With the ABE Level 6 program, your dreams are back within reach. If you hold an HND or a 2-year diploma and have valuable work experience, this is your opportunity. The ABE Level 6 is recognized by Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, and equivalent to a bachelor's degree. But that's not all. It also qualifies you to enroll in any university in Ghana for a master's degree. And here's the good news. Admissions start this August. This is your moment. Don't let it pass you by. Take the first step towards rewriting your story. Call us today at Cracks Training Institute on 0552 222217, 0552 222217, or visit cracks.edu.gh.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Damex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Your family's health should never be a worry, no matter where you are in the world. Are you a Ghanaian in the diaspora, a foreign resident in Ghana, or a Ghanaian looking for the perfect health insurance plan for yourself or your family in Ghana? Then the Apex Ebusiapa health cover is what you need. A comprehensive health insurance plan to protect your loved ones. From hospital stays to life-saving treatments, we ensure quality healthcare at an affordable cost. Apex Ebusiapa health cover. You don't just send love home, you secure it. Visit Apex Health Insurance at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shashi East Legon, or call 0540-128-256 or 0501-683912. Apex Ebusiapa Health Plan. Global love, local care.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News. Coming to you live from our studio here in Accra, and this is Point Blank. Tonight, my guest is Osman Yarega. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority. The Youth Authority is celebrating the Youth Month across the country and across the month of August. We'll talk about youth-targeted policies and what the administration of John Dramani Mahama is doing to more or less mitigate the plight of the Ghanaian youth. Osman, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening to you.
Good to see you again.
Good evening. Thank you very much, my brother. Good evening to you, Sami Biafe, the lovely crew of is it not it's Channel One or
Citi FM?
Sorry,
Channel
Citi FM and Channel One. Pardon me for the mistake. And good evening to your cherished listeners and to those who will be viewing across the country and online.
Thank you very much.
Especially to the youth of this country. Good evening to you. And I know the youth of this country are experiencing and following and enjoying the reset agenda by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Definitely. Osman, tell us, been in office how many months now?
I can say we've been in office for the past 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
Right? Yes, and so far we all are experiencing the reset agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Key amongst them is the fact that he has been stayed very loyal to his word and he has shown true fidelity to his promise. Most especially, you remember on the 12th of August last year, 2024, we launched the first ever what we call the Youth Manifesto.
Yeah.
When we launched the Youth Manifesto, the president made some solemn promises to the youth of this country. One was that he was going to set up a ministry that was solely responsible for youth development and empowerment. Hitherto, what we had was the fact that you had a ministry in charge of youth and sports. And even the youth and sports, we all knew, I mean, without any form of equivocation, we all knew that the emphasis was on sports. And even in sports, it was football. And even football, it was just Black Stars. And even Black Stars, it was about the coach. So, I mean, not to denigrate anyone's administration, whether the GFA, whatever, but I mean, that has always been the narrative. So you realize that issues of youth development and empowerment was relegated to the back. And people felt that once we were investing in sports, it meant that automatically we're investing in the youth. Investing in sports is just a fraction of the activities that the youth are interested in. Because there are some youth who are interested in sports, some are interested in creative arts, some are interested in education, some are interested in leadership, so many things that the youth have interest in. And aside from what the youth are interested in, what government should also be interested in is the welfare of the youth. One, talking about their mental health, talking about their well-being, their development. Because once the youth leaves the four walls of an institution or a classroom, then he becomes the responsibility of the National Youth Authority to make sure that you have become a very responsible citizen of society. You are imbued with the spirit of patriotism. You are imbued with the spirit of loving your nation, nation building, and be able to make yourself very profitable to this country. So that was why His Excellency thought it wise that we needed a ministry for youth development and empowerment. So first ever, His Excellency created a Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment. Honorable Lawyer George Opari Ado is made a Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. And so far we have, with the support of my minister and all the agencies under his ministry, we have, I can say we've performed remarkably well under this new ministry, and His Excellency has not regretted creating the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment. Now, key amongst the programs that are being rolled out by this ministry, we are currently rolling out 2 flagship programs by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. First is the National Apprenticeship Program, which is being rolled out by the National Youth Authority, and this seeks to train 10,000 youth of Ghana who are not in any form of, some of we have what we call employed and unemployed youth. Now, even within the unemployed youth, we have those who are further vulnerable, and that's what we call not in employment, not in education, not in training.
Okay.
Meaning that as for you, you are there. You there inside. nothing they work for you. So these are the sect of people that the National Apprenticeship Program is seeking to equip them with necessary skills. Because if a company is looking for someone, they'll be looking for someone with some sort of a training or some skill. That's if you don't have an education. At least you should have a skill. But most of the time, we're all looking at graduate unemployment, because they are the loudest in the room. Because they are graduates and they are unemployed, they are able to speak for themselves, they are able to be on social media to rant. So most of the time, we don't really pay so much attention to our brothers and sisters who are not in any form of education, not in any form of training, not in any form of employment. And that is where we plug into. And data shows that any group of 10 people in every classroom, where you have 10 people that start primary school, only 3 make it to university. Yes. Even though data is continuous, is beginning to change, the system is beginning to change because of education. But when some of us started school in primary one, so I mean that out of every 10 people I sat in the same classroom with, only 3 of us made it to university. So where is the other 7? They belong to the group of the NEET, not in employment, not in education, not in training. So the National Apprenticeship Program seeks to train many young people in various skill sets, talking about from carpentry to fabrication, to hairdressing, to fashion and beauty, etc., etc., depending on where you seek or you find interest in. Now, this is a program that seeks to train you from the beginning to the end. It gives you stipends, it pays for you, and when you're living, it gives you some startup.
Okay.
To start yourself up, whether you want to go into entrepreneurship or you want to go into industry or you want to go into cooperatives, all that is factored in. Another very important program that His Excellency is rolling out under the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment is the Ejumera project, and this seeks to call on many young people who want to go into one form of entrepreneurship or the other. And most of the time, most of the businesses that we call startups don't really have that stimulus pack to help them move to another level. It's just in recent times that some banks are trying as much as possible to have some startup component to support many young people. Other than that, here to once you start, they say, oh, we don't lend to startups. You just need to run your accounts for 2-3 years. Who should help that startup to run its account for 2-3 years? In your bank for you to now support. So His Excellency is saying that we need to support many young people so that among these young people we'll be able to create the likes of Bill Gates, will be able to create the likes of Elon Musk, the likes of Dangote, the likes of Ibrahim Mahama, etc., etc. These are what we're seeking to do. So under the Ejumera program, they are training 10,000 people, but out of the 10,000, 2,000 currently will be given the stimulus pack between 50,000 cities onwards. It is not alone.
But is it for the entire program or for a period of time?
No, it's the program is for you. So under the program, you're going through some incubation and training.
Okay.
So when you're done and you do the pitch, and you realize that this is a good pitch, then you're given the money to push the business. So you just start with an idea, and you're able to go through that idea, explain the idea, have that pitch. If the pitch, people, I mean, there'll be businessmen to listen to the pitch, very good experts to know this is a good idea, that's not a good idea. Quite apart from that money, that stimulus pack that will be given to you, the likes of venture capital and some other development partners or some agencies are also partnering to see how they can go into some agreement with you to help expand the business. Some may actually go into equity, some may go into shares, some may actually give you the stimulus pack. So depending on how you pitch your ideas. So because we're looking at creating the next batch of billionaires and millionaires, just beyond, I mean, people leaving the 4 walls of university and having to hold a brown envelope with an application, DSA, application for job. I'm able to multitask. I work under pressure. I'm able to do this, So His Excellency is seeking to make sure that many young people are able to grow. Quite apart from that, another initiative that is being rolled out, but not under the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, is the 1 Million Coders program. This is to help many young people to explore their talents so far as coding is concerned, so far as computer literacy is concerned, cyber security, etc. So we realize that there's so many programs that have been put together to make sure that many young people are able to acquire jobs or make themselves employable, actually be themselves employers of society. And that is what the ministry is currently coordinating from ministry to ministry. So even though we sit at the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, there are other ministries that are doing programs that are youth bias that we now plug into it, and there's that collaboration, because governance in itself, it's a collaboration and not a competition amongst ministers. So we realize that currently, I think tomorrow they're going to launch the program for small scale miners, and that involves a lot of youth, a lot of young people. So you know that this is where we are plugging into. Remember, not too far distant past, we launched the Blue Water Guard system. All that includes and involves the youth. So clearly, this is a government that is doing well so far as the youth is concerned, and so far as we developing the youth is concerned. And there's no other person we can thank than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for staying true to his word, for making sure that he adheres to whatever he says, making sure that he is able to fulfill the promises he makes. It wasn't just a campaign. And Sammy, what actually gladdens us is the fact that after the NDC won, His Excellency said, "Oh, I was reducing the number of ministers to 60." So we were now wondering, if you're going to reduce it to 60, are you sure we're still going to get
the ministry
our youth, the new ministry you promised? Because so we're quite worried. I mean, to be very honest, we were worried. Hey, the 60 ministers, will we still feature under the Ministry of Youth? Because this was a serious promise we made. Then, lo and behold, I think it was number 18 or so, Ministry of Youth Development. We knew that, yes, this is a man of his word. This is a man who keeps to his word. This is a man that when he tells you something, you can use it as currency to buy whatever you want to buy, because he will hold himself to what he says.
In as much as, the president has brought about youth-centered, programs to mitigate the plight of the Ghanaian youth, there's something which is also worrying the Ghanaian youth, which has to do with abuse of drugs. I know your outfit, in collaboration with your sector ministry, has come up with something you call Red Means Stop. What exactly is this policy or program or initiative?
Yes, thank you very much. As we said, beyond job creation, some people think that when we talk about youth, it's all about job creation, job creation. No, beyond job creation, you need to look at the total well-being of the youth. You need to look at the mental health of the youth, because mind you, you can find a job for a young man. If the person falls prey to substance abuse, excuse my language, that job you found for the young man is useless. And I have a difficulty in believing people when they say because there's unemployment, then it means that it's breeding addiction or substance abuse. That is entirely wrong, because data has also shown where we've seen millionaires, multi-millionaires, where we've seen celebrities, where we've seen people who are businessmen working abuse drugs. So let's not always use unemployment or, excuse my language, poverty as an excuse to do wrong. So I mean, for substance abuse, it doesn't matter whether you are employed or unemployed, because someone can be employed, he's going through some pressure in the office, and someone says, "Oh, let's just try this to calm the pressure down." You take it, and by the time you realize you're on the free fall. So issues of substance abuse is something that is actually on the rise, and some research was done up north. I don't want to mention the region or the secondary schools, and this has actually permeated way down to the junior high level schools. Yes. Now, this data was done in the senior high schools, and the research for some 10 senior high schools, and from the research, out of every 10 students in the schools, in the senior high schools, at least 6 of them have tried one substance or the other. 6 out of 10 young people have tried one substance or the other. And you realize that this cuts across. When you go into the universities, it is even more. And sometimes some even take it without knowing, and the feeling, sometimes they feel like, okay, I think I need to try again and see. So all these parties, all these drinks, sometimes people are they even infuse it without people knowing, concoctions and the rest. So, and I mean, in one way or the other, they try to convince you that, oh, it's just to help you release tension. Some also say, oh, it's for enhancement, sexual enhancement. Some to tell you that taking it to become stronger, to work, especially those who work on construction sites, etc., etc. They just say that, oh, we take it because we need extra strength. And by the time we realize, they become addicts. Now, this has become a very serious issue. And somewhere in March, we collaborated with all agencies, the Ministry of Interior, Customs Division, NACOP, CID, all the agencies that matter, because you see, there is the availability of the drugs and there's a consumption of the drugs. One, if it's not available, they will not consume it, and if it's not available, they will not even try it. So we need to cut it from the entry point, and that has to do with customs service. So we've been collaborating with them, we've been collaborating with NACOP to see how we can stop it. Now, beyond the entry point, now we need to look at its distribution, and that is Ghana Police. We've been collaborating with the Ghana Police to clamp down on some areas. Some communities themselves have formed their own task force to start arresting people. But unfortunately, beyond just the citizens' arrest, sometimes they actually try to lynch them or molest them, and that is not really the case. I cannot support such actions. I can support citizens' arrest and hand them over to police. I cannot support you lynching them. So currently, we are also in touch with the Ministry of Education to go down into the various senior high schools, see how we can take that sensitization tour to the senior high schools for some people to see firsthand, experience what it means and the effects thereafter, because some people don't really know how it's going to end up when they take it. So when they have the videos, when they see the audios, they see the real effect on what is happening in society, then they can put a stop to it. So there's the campaign against substance abuse, which we started, Red Means Stop. Now, beyond the campaign, you also need to look at those who are already addicted, the rehabilitation process. So as part of the rehabilitation process, we're working with other counseling agencies, some psychologists, to see how we can rehabilitate them. And after they've been rehabilitated, we also need to look at the social cohesion. How do they come back to society? Then we're looking at how we can train them under the apprenticeship program, so that at least they can find themselves busy with some work, so that they can easily cohabit with people or their families back in society. So there's a whole comprehensive plan as to how we're stopping this red. It's not just about red, but I mean, they come in different colors, but currently red is the most popular drug out there. So when we say Red Means Stop, it's not only red we're stopping. We're talking about tramadol, we're talking about kush, we're talking about trofinadol.
The red looks like the one most abused by the youth.
Yes, it looks most.
A lot of people.
Yeah, that's what we call
concentration.
The red. Yes, but I mean, it's just a nomenclature.
Yeah.
When we say the red, it's not just only red. So all sorts of substance. Some people even make super glue with some energy drinks and some cough syrup. Just to mix it, just to get high. So all of those things are part of the things we are actually fighting against. In fact, as part of the Red Means Stop campaign and as part of the National Youth Festival in the Youth Month, which is this month of August. On the 16th of August, we're supposed to have a nationwide walk at all regional capitals on the Red Means Stop campaign. So the regional ministers, we're writing to them to lead most of the walks in the various regions on this substance abuse or Red Means Stop campaign. That will be on the 16th on the Saturday. That's next week. Saturday. See how we can stop it, for it to be a nationwide campaign. It's not just about NYA or it's just about you, but it's about everyone. You may think that, well, your direct family member or your immediate family member is not into substance abuse, but if you are in that traffic or you stopped at the traffic light and an addict decides to pull out a gun or something and hit you and attack you, then you know that what you need is a healthy society and not just you living in your house with a very tall fence and a barbed wire. So you need to be interested in your surroundings, not only in your home, but even on the streets, where you work, where you live, how you cohabit with people. So it's a clarion call. And I also want to call on the clergy that, I mean, beyond preaching salvation, beyond preaching prosperity, beyond preaching people to love the church, we need to also preach for people to love their country, people to be patriotic, and people to stay away from substance abuse. Because you see, the church is one place where most people actually listen to sermon, they love their religious leaders, they do whatever they tell them to do. So I am pleading with them that beyond salvation, beyond prosperity, we need, because you see, you can preach all the salvation and all the prosperity. If half of your church members or the mosque members are addicts, it obviously invariably affects you. On Friday, we were with the chief imam, and he also spoke extensively against substance abuse to the youth of this country. We had a religious engagement, myself and the Minister for Youth Development. On Saturday, the 2nd of August, we did a nationwide cleanup exercise. I was at around Lekma with the minister. On Sunday, again, we're in church to speak to young people on substance abuse. We've written to the Christian Council to make sure this month of August, at least, most of the churches preach on the youth development, on patriotism for your country, love for your country, and against substance abuse. So we're still moving on. From the 10th to the 12th of August, we're having the National Youth Conference in Kumasi at the KNUSC Great Hall Auditorium, where we'll have various conversations beyond the main program. We'll have various plenary discussions, we'll have various panel discussions on issues that affect the youth. Because at the end of the day, it's those conversations we're going to put together and be able to put a report to know how we can put together the youth report to present to His Excellency the President. Then on the 20th or 21st of August, again, we have what's called a stakeholder engagement meeting that will involve young parliamentarians, young MPs, anybody who is doing anything that affects the youth. You all are stakeholders, so you'll be called upon for us to have a conversation on issues that affect the youth and how we all can manifestly help in developing the youth. Now, beyond that, we will have the youth seminar on climate change and environmental sustainability. today issues of environmental degradation, issues of galamsey is very topical, and Citi FM and Channel 1 has been one of the key frontrunners as far as environmental sustainability and climate change is concerned. So we'll have that conversation. You obviously be needed there to have that serious conversation. Beyond that, there's a saying that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You see, in all of these conferences, you'll be speaking to different groups of youth. Now, there's another huge margin or group of the youth that believe that you can only speak to them through entertainment. So at the end of the month, 29 to 30, we'll have the youth carnival at the Independence Square, where you have some musicians, and beyond that you have speeches in between to still talk about the issues that affect the youth. And so you realize that there are so many activities to talk to different groups of youth. So by the time we are done, you should have been touched or heard something or the other so far as youth development is concerned. And this is the first time we are having a National Youth Festival. I mean, hitherto what happened was that on the 12th of August, which is International Youth Day by the UN, there's just a conference and they talk, and that is just in one conference room with less than maybe 10,000 people. But I don't know which conference room in Ghana can take. Maybe if the cathedral were done, we would have been the cathedral was supposed to take 10,000, right? Yeah, so if the cathedral were done, I'm sure would have been able to accommodate 10,000 people in one auditorium. But since the cathedral is still at the swimming pool level, we would just have to engage the youth. But this will happen at the the KNUST Great Hall Auditorium. But I foresee next year we doing it in a sports stadium, because currently the number of people who are subscribing, we just cannot take everyone. So we want them to bear with us.
A packed program, if you ask me, and it is our hope and expectation that it goes down well with the Ghanaian youth, so at least we're able to address some of the ills in society. Away from your program, we got some few minutes to check out. Let me come to your institution. I know the previous administration and your predecessor started the youth resource centers across the country. What is the update on it? Were they able to complete, a few, or how many were they able to complete? And what a general update on it?
Yes, thank you very much.
When I advertised that you were coming here, what was the message the Texas wanted to find out?
Yes, every time we hear of National Youth Authority, the first question people ask is how far with our youth resource centers. That is true. That is an issue which is at the core of the heart of the National Youth Authority, and also at the heart of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has assured us that we would complete the 8 uncompleted youth resource centers, and in fact 6 more will be constructed at the new regions so that every region will have at least 1 youth resource center. So currently we are investigating most of the projects, auditing most of the projects, because some of them, the financial
there's some financial issues with them.
The financial issues with them. So we are currently auditing most of them to see how we can. Some will either be continued, or some of the contractors will have their contracts terminated and re-awarded, or it will be re-evaluated. Because at the time they started the construction, a bag of cement was about 30 cedis. Today, if you want them to go back and continue, a bag of cement, thanks to John Mama, has reduced from 130 to about 100 cedis. So at least there's even a reduction. But you realize that there will be some disparities that need to. So it's going through that process. So as and when we're done, we'll see whether those who continue will continue, or those who will be re-awarded will be re-awarded. Example, Yendi is about 85% completed. Yinehine is about 75% completed. Where our office resides in Accra is about 55% completed. So there's a lot of work to be done at the various youth resource centers. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama once again has promised and assured us that these are centers that he'll make sure are fully reconstructed and managed properly.
Also, finally, before you go, you've been there for 7 months, as you said. We don't know how long you'll be there, but what legacy do you intend to leave behind as the CEO of the National Youth Authority, who left this particular legacy behind?
Yes, I mean, for now, we have done so many things at the Youth Authority that at, if you're talking about legacy, what we may leave behind. I mean, people can attest to the fact that there's never been a youth festival to talk about issues that confront the youth. It's not just a festival for fun, but it's a festival for youth to come out and dialogue on issues that confront them. It has never happened before. I mean, the National Youth Authority has never implemented a flagship program such as the National Apprenticeship Program. Today we're doing it, and we're doing it very well, and we're doing it to the best of our abilities. I mean, of course, Red Means Stop sits with the National Youth Authority in collaboration with the Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment. I mean, if you want to talk about also even structural development, our office complex is almost complete. I met it as an uncompleted building, but I promised myself that we need a befitting office and a youthful office, so that when people come, they know that this is the youth office and this is the youth center for total development of the youth. I mean, there's so many things we can talk about so far as the National Youth Authority is concerned. But even if I'm moved today out of the National Youth Authority, maybe God willing, promoted.
You'll be proud.
Promoted. I mean, the staff can say that, well, this is a CEO who was able to do A, B, C, D. For he didn't just come to work from 8 to 5 and pick his bag and go, but he was able to develop the authority for us, make it more attractive, make it more visible, make it more of an authority than just a working space. So at least we'll leave that to the Ghanaian people and to His Excellency, whom I thank so much for this opportunity to serve my nation and my youth as a capacity of the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority.
Osman, thank you very much.
You're invited to Kumasi though.
I'll come, definitely. Just get me a hotel, I'll come.
No problem.
Osman Ayaga, CEO of the National Youth Authority. My guest on Point Blank on Eyewitness News. And this is where we draw the curtain down today's edition of Eyewitness News. That came to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Earlier you heard Ajubi Wiafe Akenton. Producers, Kwabena Wilson, Beverly London, technical assistant, Emmanuel Quay. So we're coming away again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline